So about 10 years ago, I was painting the outside of my house, and my son, he called me. He lives back on the East Coast, and he asked, "What are you doing, Dad?" I go, "Oh, just painting the outside of the house." And it's pretty boring, but I said, got my earbuds and my phone and listened to a lot of music. And he goes, "Well, have you ever heard of a podcast?" He goes, "I listen to sports podcasts all the time." He's really into MMA and basketball and stuff. And he says, "No, I'm really." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm sure they have duck hunting ones." So the next day I'm painting on the house and I go look around, kind of Google it all and find a couple podcasts, listen to them, really enjoyed it. And I thought, gee, that might be something I might want to try to do sometime. And so anyway, here's my first one. And like I said, I know I'll have a lot of, I'm just doing this on my iPhone in my family room, but I think I'm going to tell you this story that happened to me this year while duck hunting. I guess I should tell you I'm from Western Montana, just retired, as a middle school teacher. I bird hunted about, imagine 50 years. So I've kind of seen the evolution of a lot of different things. And anyway, I better get on with my story. So, over the years, I've always thought, is duck hunting a dangerous endeavor? I've done it, like I said, 50 years. And, I've had a few tough spots. I've had things happen. I think everybody has, but I think if you got a good mentor, I can't stress this enough, is to mentor kids. I didn't really have it, and but mentor kids and learn about gun safety and how to travel on ice and just things like that. I think it's a very safe endeavor. But anyway, so this year I actually had a fellow teacher. I had some relatives that had some land, and I asked them if I could bird hunt on it, and they said sure. And they have ditches, and a couple of the ditches don't freeze. Western Montana, open water ditches can be a gold mine. And so I went out one afternoon. I think it was like right around the middle of November, and I was gonna go check it out. And I have a black lab, Max. He's my hunting buddy. We do everything together. I also have Miley, a yellow lab, who's retired. And but anyway, we'd been out snow goose hunting and pheasant hunting, and he hurt his back. He gets sciatica once in a great while, and so I actually on this trip didn't take him with me. And I kind of thought about how this might have played out differently if I would have had Max with me. But I didn't have him. I just went down, I parked my truck by some hay bales, and I saw the ditch. And this ditch, the water doesn't run year round, so it was pretty frozen. And I thought to myself, maybe I'll just walk down here a little ways, see what it looks like, and come back. And and I just thought, don't even take your gun. And I thought, well, that's kind of silly, because as soon as you don't come around the corner, there's open water and some mallards will get up. So anyway, I grabbed my shotgun, and there was a little electric fence there. I hopped over it, and it's just some old broken willows along the ditch. It's probably 15 yards from the ditch. And I just start walking real quietly, not expecting too much, and just keep going. And all of a sudden I hear this crash, this huge crash. And I look over, and there were two calf moose, good size, considering they're probably born in June, early June, and this is mid-November. They were good size. And Mom was with them, and they all jumped up, and they all started running right at me. And which is alarming, but not horrible. You know, I mean, I've been around tons of moose. Seems like they're all over anymore. They're in town, they're at the park, and you know, so I started going down, waving, you know, to say, hey, it's okay, I'm giving you room, you know, it's okay. I was just kind of jogging, you know, and I mean, within seconds, just seconds, the two calves blow past me, and then here comes Mom, and she's gonna follow him, right? Well, she gets about 15 feet from me and decides to turn and come right at me, and so I, instead of going to my right, I go forward, and she goes past me, and now I'm thinking the calves are out there. They're probably 75 yards past me already. I thought, you just go with your calves. Just a big alfalfa field. There's nothing out there. You know, go on your way. And she turns around, and she turned around so fast, there's probably about 4 inches of snow. And it was cold that day. It was hovering around 0 pretty much all day. It was cold. And she turned so hard she slipped, kind of stumbled, fell down. Then she got up, and she started coming at me, just walking. And I was just, you know, kind of like, what's going on? I don't understand this. You know, I mean, it's so funny how I got out of her way the first time, because I mean, if you guys can tell, I'm not a little guy. You know, I had waders on, and you know, kind of like looked like the Michelin Man trying to, you know, do a dance with a moose. And so she's coming at me the second time, and she's not charging me, but she's just walking forward. Her head's up, her ears are back, and she's just kind of nodding her head like this. And I'm just like, go. Now I'm vocal. Go with your calves. Go with your calves. Turn around. Go with your calves. And I kind of thought, you know, maybe, I guess I could turn and run. But God, I just didn't want to turn my back on her. Like, you know, she was only, at that time, maybe 6 feet from me, 7 feet. And I just thought if I turned my back, you know, she'd get me on the ground, and it could be lights out. So I start backing up, and as she gets closer too, I mean, her hoofs are bigger than my hands. And as she got closer, she's doing this with her head, and she just starts reaching out and just stomping the ground. And it's this frozen ground. Just doom, doom, doom. And I thought, oh, she hits my knee, my foot. You know, I just start backing up. And I had my shotgun with me, obviously. I didn't have bear spray. Sometimes I pack it. Just in this situation, it's not moose country. It's, you know, hindsight's 20/20, but you know, sometimes as duck hunters we pack too much stuff, and I guess I could have had, you know, bear spray with me, but I didn't. I mean, moral of the story, I didn't. And she keeps coming towards me, and she just looks like she's like, and here she is. It's like she's in this, like, I laughed because I told somebody, it was almost like she was like in a marching band, just trying to, you know, just, you know, when you watch them all in unison, synchronized, like coming, and then but she's getting higher as she's coming towards me, and so I'm backing up, and so I just held out my shotgun, and I'm holding it. You know, I'm not the strongest guy in the world. You know, I'll hold a 12 gauge with 28-inch barrel. I'm holding it like a pistol, and I'm backing up, and she just keeps coming. And I'm thinking, as soon as the barrel touches her face, I'm gonna just barely pull it back, and I'm gonna have to shoot her. And as I'm backing up, and then she's coming, and she starts kind of moving her nose, and I had it, you know, right to her face, And she starts moving her nose. I thought, God dang it. If she clears that shotgun, just boom, with that nose, she could come right over the top of me. I couldn't do anything. And I thought, and I just didn't want to kill her. I didn't want to shoot her. And pretty soon I just leaned a little bit to my right. I was holding the shotgun, like this, like a pistol. It just automatically tucked up underneath her jaw, right here, right here. And so I thought, well, I shot her, and she just instantly fell on her side. And I just was like, did this really just happen? And I didn't kill her. She's struggling. And so then she's laying on her side, and I put another one behind her other ear, and I ended it all. And I guess I really went into a state of shock. I was really just in total shock, total disbelief, total going numb, I guess. And then things started running through my head. I mean, I was like, I got called Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. And, I wasn't even thinking straight. And I got to call my wife, let her know I'm okay. And then I finally just call 911. So I called 911, and I got some young, sweet girl on there. And I guess I must have really been pretty kind of incoherent. Cause I know I kept saying, it's like, why didn't she go with her calves? I didn't want to kill her. I didn't want to go. And she's like, sir, it's very cold out there. You're going into shock. You got to get back to your truck, and warm up. Go back to your truck, turn it on, and warm up. And you're lucky. She could have stomped you. The moose kill people and everything. I know. You're lucky you're alive, and yada yada. And so I says, I know. And I look over at my truck. My truck's on a county road, maybe 150 yards. This isn't like way in the wilderness. This is like, out in the middle of a farm field right off a county road. And I look over at the truck, and by the hay bales, I just see there were 2 sheriffs looking at me. And I said, okay, sheriffs are here. I says, thanks, and I'm gonna go talk to them. And I had one more shell on my gun. I have an auto, so I took it out and walked over and showed it to them, and they were just so quiet. They didn't say anything, which was kind of freaking me out. One finally says, we're calling the game warden, and the other one guy goes, wow, you really got a story to tell your grandkids. And I remember I didn't even reply. I was just so numb. And I thought, that's rude, police or sheriffs, I gotta, and I said, just looked at him, I said, I can't believe this happened. And so anyway, I had my waders and, my keys, I could feel them, but they were in a different pocket. I was trying to unzip it, and I couldn't find my keys. My hands were frozen, and I was a mess, really. I was a mess. I got in my truck, I started it, put my gun away and stuff, and anyway, so they get a hold of the game warden, and of course he's in the East Fork. It's a hunting area for elk, and this was like right prime time for elk hunters to be out. And he was like, so he's a good hour away. And then I talked to him, and he says, yeah, he goes, don't touch. It was kind of weird. He goes, don't touch anything. Don't leave everything that, kind of like a crime scene or something. Just leave it alone. I go, no, I'm gonna sit here in my truck and call my wife and call people, and he goes, that's good, and then we talked a little more, and he goes, well, really, actually, if you want to start gutting her out. I was like, here I am. I got more adrenaline in my body than I probably ever have, and she's 700 pounds if she's an ounce. And, laying on her side, it's a 2-person job. I'm not going to get a knife in my hand. I said, I'll wait for you. I want to leave everything just, the way it is. I got too much adrenaline going through my brain, my veins here to even comprehend doing that. So Anyway, I sat there and so then I thought I got to call my wife, and she's babysitting our granddaughter, and I thought, God, I didn't even tell her I was going hunting. I didn't text her. I just, it was kind of one of them whims, this afternoon whim, get out for a couple hours, and just more of a scouting mission even too, So I called her, told her what happened, and she was just shocked, and I told her to call the kids, tell them I'm okay, and I'm waiting on a game warden, and I'm sure everything's going to be fine. And I just kept telling her, I'm so sorry I didn't text her, tell her where I was going, and I got the old you should never go hunting by yourself speech from my wife, and then thinking during this time, what if she'd have got me down and broke all my ribs or my arm, or I couldn't get to my cell phone, and it was cold. I mean, I could be 150 yards from a county road and people wouldn't have saw me, and I just had all these weird thoughts, and so then the next thing I have to do, and this is worse than even calling my wife, is I got to call the people that on their land. Their house is not far from there. I could see their house, and tell them, and it's like, what do you tell them? Say, hey, yeah, thanks for letting me hunt. I was here 10 minutes and I shot a moose, and, don't have a license, and, it was trying to kill me. It came back and was right on top of me trying to stomp me. And so talking to him, and these people are the sweetest people, nicest people you'll ever meet. And, and I think I could feel apprehension, and I would too. Any of us, the duck hunters, I walk into a bar, hey, I'm duck hunting, I shot a moose because it attacked me. And I kind of like, red flag, they are unpredictable, they're big, they got calves, I get it. But, I told him the whole story. The game warden was coming, and that she was right on top of me, and, and he says, well, I'm just glad you're okay, Jerry, So anyway, but it was tough. It was really tough. And I told him I'd call him back later and let him know what, everything about what was going on and stuff. And, when I first met these people, they said, you can hunt. I said, gosh, I sure, like, Christmas time, can I get you, like, what's your favorite restaurant? I'll get you a gift card, you can go out for dinner on me, kind of. And he's, oh, no, they both said, no, you give it to a charity, and then you just tell us which charity, and they were so sweet. And even the next day, they called me. If you're in Montana, you'll know what the day was. If you're Montanan, because he called me the next morning, which was Saturday morning. It was the day of the Cat Grizz football game. Brawl of the Wild. So that's a big day if you're a Montanan. And of course, they're all Cat fans, and I'm a Grizz, and the Cats beat the Grizz. So anyway, but we talked about that, and we talked, and we had a great talk. And I says, I got to process this. That, maybe taking her out of the gene pool wasn't a bad idea, because there's a lot of kids at bus stops on that road. Worse things could have happened, and he totally agreed. Just super sweet people. And then finally, like, the game warden, he found his sun's going down. It's getting colder. It's getting really cold, and the sun goes down. First game warden, he shows up, and then another one right after him. They both get there same time, and I asked him, I go, you want to see my license, check my gun, and stuff like that. And he says, no, you're fine. Let's just walk out there. And so we walked out there, and the calves come running out again, same spot. They come running out, and they ran over and just started eating. And so I told him what happened. They're looking at the snow, and they had their cell phones out, and they're snapping pictures of the moose and snapping pictures of everything, and lift her head, and see the holes, and they're 12 gauge. They're, I'm sure there's powder burns on her hair, and they're like, oh wow, crazy. They says this is self-defense. You had no other choice. You did the right thing. Don't feel bad. And then he said something weird, and I didn't even think, this was the last thing on my mind. He says, well, there's no salvage tag here. Like, I guess if I was driving down the road and I ran over a moose, I could salvage some of the meat. I could buy a tag or something and salvage some of the meat, roadkill or something. But you can't do that on this. And I go, I don't want to. I don't. I'm not against having a nice moose steak, but I was like, no. I says, but she's still good, and you guys can process her and get her to the food bank. And they go, exactly what we want to do. She'll go to the food bank, feed some needy folks. Great moose protein is top notch. So that made me feel good. And looking at her calves made me feel good too, because they were eating alpha. They weren't nursing. They were huge. They were big. So, kind of this, that, and the other thing kind of makes you feel good, And then one of the wardens says, he goes, man, it seems like the moose are acting really weird this year. And I've noticed that. I just Christmas Day, we had moose across the street from us, a big bull on Christmas Day. We live right here in town. And, I don't know, I've got a degree in wildlife biology. I've been in Montana my whole life and stuff. I think I know animals and stuff, and I still just, I know they can be aggressive, but there's still something about this was just really weird, and it's just kind of, I think, some of the things that we do as duck hunters that you don't really think about at the time, but then you look back on it. And actually, funny thing is, I'll end it on this. The funny thing is, the year before, I went snow goose hunting, and I walked around this lake, and we were in a drought, so the lake was way down. And once I got around, I tried to get closer to the lake, because it's kind of past shooting them, they come off. Walking back, I got too close to the lake, and I got in that gumbo mud from hell. It was, I thought I was gonna walk out. I thought I lost my boots. I had muck boots that go clear up to my knees. Thank God I didn't have my short ones on. It took me, 10 minutes just to pull one boot out of the mud, and then, I walked till I got to grass, which was probably 100 yards, probably the hardest 100 yards. I lost my socks, I was barefoot, and I had my boots and my gun. I ended up, I had a little tiny collapsible chair, I tossed that. But, it wasn't a life or death thing. It was getting cold though. Wind came up. But I'm thinking, I got back to the truck, and I just, a big mud ball. And I thought, just the stupid stuff, stupid. And I was trying to save 5 minutes getting back to the truck. I should have went way back out around and way off the shoreline, because the shoreline was so big, and it just went from that real white sand that you can walk on, to the sand that just, you're up to your knees. I was like, oh. But anyway, I think that's my hunting story for the year. I never thought, I thought I'd go out, maybe try to get some ducks or a goose, and I got a moose. So anyway, all right. So I like to end all my podcasts. First one, I kind of thought it'd be good. Just end with a picture. I dug through some stuff the other day, and I found this old picture. I'm just going to call this picture The Bling of 1981. I remember, I wish I could remember it better. I don't remember in Montana, Pacific, I'm in the West, so Pacific Flyway. In 1981, I think this is when I shot these two geese, and one of them was banded. And was banded right at the refuge I shot it at. It was not a big, crazy ordeal. But Anyway, you can see this is a picture of my truck and my camper in 1981, and every weekend of hunting season it was first come, first serve. So we would spend the whole weekend in that camper, sleeping and hunting and cooking and little drinking. I almost said day drinking. We didn't do much of that, but anyway. So brings back memories. I wish I could remember more, but it's funny for people, because people always say, what was hunting like? I saw a thing when the internet first came out. It's like, all you old timers, what was hunting like back in the 1970s and 80s? And I was like, old timers? That's me. I thought you were going to say like in the 50s and 60s, not the 70s and 80s. But there wasn't many geese around. It was a way different game here in Western Montana. I don't know, other areas, but Western Montana, there were geese, but they flew high and they were smart and, not near the numbers now. Not near the numbers that we have now. So if you got, I don't know, I went duck hunting. I killed, oh my gosh, what Randy and I killed one year. We kept a record. We killed close to 300 ducks. It was absolutely insane. We went all the time, and it was a good year. I mean, we got a lot of ducks, and I think maybe he killed 3 or 4 geese, and so did I. It was we didn't really target them, but it was kind of like pass by things, but just wasn't near as many. So anyway, the bling of 81. Hey, so my next one, I'll put up another one, and hopefully you'll listen. Give me some comments too. I'd be cool. So thanks a lot. Have a good day. Bye.